Today, on another episode of What Ifs, we take a look at why Darcy lied about her stuff in season 7. Did we really need more than 7 seasons of Degrassi? And what if Emma basically was still the cause girl we all know and kind of like? Find out today on Degrassi What Ifs. Hey there, hello there, it's Jeff Cutter. I'm welcoming you to another Degrassi What Ifs episode. So I'd like to thank everyone, of course, for their continued exploitation of me, all that. I don't know why I said that, but that's me. All right. So 3 what ifs. Today's first what if is about Darcy. Now, as everyone knows, Darcy was actually introduced in season 4 as a character who actually got paid by Toby money to kiss Rick and all that, and not Spinner. Jay was basically upset with it. Rumors were circulating that Jay was actually Darcy's brother. Well, was going to be her older brother, but that fell flat. But anyway, Darcy came around her big part was season 5 when she basically is part of the friendship club, the Christian club at Degrassi, and is approached by Spinner to try to make his life better. After all, Spinner had the guilt of getting Jimmy shot in season 4, even though that he didn't know that Rick had a gun and all that. And basically, he's upset with himself for being with Jay and all that. Because if it wasn't for Jay, he probably would not have done it. So basically, Spinner tells Darcy this stuff and all that, and Darcy agrees to help him. And Spinner is upset at himself, saying, "Why does God love me? After all, I put my best friend in a wheelchair. God loves you no matter what happens." I love that guy. Anyway, Darcy agrees to help Spinner navigate through things. Of course, Spinner was allowed to come back in season 5 after his expulsion. All that. He knew it wasn't going to be easy, but Spinner stuck to the plan and did well. Jay basically was upset that Spinner didn't want to hang out with him much and would rather spend time with Darcy in the friendship club. So Jay tags along with Spinner and Darcy on a thing and basically lies about things to try to get girls, thinking that Spinner does it just to get a girl. But Spinner didn't. He did it to cleanse his mind. And basically, Spinner lashes out at Jay and says that basically, why was I with you and all this? Why did I listen to you about Rick and all that? You knew it didn't happen. You basically wanted to make yourself look good and all that. You're lucky that the police didn't find out about you. You would have been dead meat. Every time I'm with you, I suck and all that. So basically, Jay's upset by it. Oh shoot, I think Spinner went to a thing with Darcy, but couldn't deal with Darcy's group, people being bland and all that, even though Darcy sneaks alcohol and all that. So he calls Jay to pick him up, and then Jay makes a farce out of things. So basically, yeah. So basically, Darcy and Spinner go out, but then Darcy has some kind of hypocritical stuff response, and Spinner is not too happy with Darcy and breaks up with her. Darcy then lands in Peter's lap, and Peter seems to be okay, but how Peter's history and all that. Manny and Emma warn Darcy about Peter's advances and all that, but basically he's doing it for his own ego and all that. Peter doesn't want them to leave. Then, worst of all, Peter sets up Darcy with a guy named McAdams who would pay money to Darcy for weird photos of her and all that. But basically, it turns out to be that Adams basically comes by Degrassi wanting to speak with Darcy and all that. But thankfully, the police get involved, and Darcy feels terrible about herself. Darcy feels good about herself in a sense that she tries to fix things. And despite the fact that Peter set her up with this Adams guy, Peter decides to help Darcy out, and Darcy still is with Peter. But then season 7 pops up. Darcy is with Peter and they go to a ski party, but unfortunately she leaves her drink outside. When she goes to the bathroom, someone slips something in it. Basically, she gets raped and all that. She thinks she has sex with Peter, but she doesn't. She had sex with someone else without even knowing it and all that. when rumors were circulating about what had happened, basically Darcy feels ashamed of herself. The friendship club kicks her out because she had to be pure and all that. Darcy said she should have kept her purity ring because, after all, she had sex with someone who was not her own choice and she was raped. But nope, Then Darcy spirals out of control. She feels so crestfallen that she has fallen outside of her own Christian virtues that she slashes her wrists. And then, she's upset. And finally, Simpson decides to help her out with her rape and all that. You know, well, Darcy had to go see Sobe 3 times a week for her way of slashing her wrists and all that. But basically, Darcy was upset that Simpson basically didn't think that Darcy was fixed. So she threatened to harm herself and all that in front of him. And then basically, when there are a lot of issues, she has a lot of issues and all that, her mother demands to know what's going on. Darcy gets scared and basically says that Snake was inappropriate towards her. Basically, Snake says that's not true and all that, but however, Hazelagel says there has to be an investigation. After realizing what had happened, and basically Emma finding out what Darcy said about her stepdad, Emma lashes at Darcy. Darcy feels terrible about herself and decides to go off the roof, basically realizing that when people find out about her lying about Snake, she's going to be a dead duck. But thankfully, Manny saves Darcy from a terrible fate. And then basically Manny says that you have to be honest with everybody. So Darcy tells everybody about how she accused Snake of things. Even though that Darcy admitted her mistake, Snake said that basically they probably might think that Darcy backtracked because of pressure, so that he can't really win. However, he doesn't hold it against Darcy. He just basically says that, you caused a lot of trouble, but I don't hate you. So basically, Darcy goes to Brat camp at her parents' assistance. Peter comes by, and Peter basically helps her deal with the rape and all that, and she's a much better person. She's still with Peter, and, everything's fine. And then Darcy heads to Kenya as a way to atone for her problems from the last semester. Although, to me, it feels like her parents were probably the ones who pushed her to Kenya. I still say they're responsible. But anyway, yeah. And of course, in real life, Sinead Grimes was given a chance to be on 90210, the reboot. And that show was kind of terrible and all that. Not to mention the tabloids saying that Sinead and her two co-stars were having eating disorder competition, something like that, to lose the most weight and all that. And that's just pure insanity and all that. So anyway, yes. So basically, it's like, to me, this what if Darcy didn't admit to her problems in season 7? Now, of course, what if Darcy actually? You could also say, what if Darcy actually talked to people about her rape before accusing Simpson of this stuff? Maybe she gets the help she needs. But, Darcy was scared because, her Christian values is what she had. Basically, her parents put Christian values in her. And Darcy, of course, feels upset because Claire is now the good one. They're going to focus all their attention towards Claire and make her the perfect Christian specimen, if you will. Of course, that didn't work out so well because of the Edwards family divorce and all that. And Claire obviously was pissed off. I think she really felt like, she felt bad for the divorce, and she thought God had forsaken her because her parents were divorcing. Although they said that it wasn't her fault. It was just shit happens. Anyway, yeah, so basically, Claire fell off the rails with her Christianity and all that. And she didn't really talk about her Christian views as much after season 10 when the parents divorced. Maybe it was backlash because of religion. I don't know. Probably not. But yeah, you could say that. But you also said, what if she didn't admit her actions? Snake would have been in so much heat. Basically, Darcy would have been in so much trouble. All that. Thankfully, she admitted her mistakes, but Darcy probably was going to be part of a Christian specimen, but always in the back of her mind, she would have the guilt and all that. But I think her guilt would have spilled out some other way. I mean, who knows what would have happened. Yeah, that's kind of a weird one. Number 2 is the number of seasons. So, as everyone knows, Degrassi Junior High ran for 3 seasons, and Degrassi High ran for 2 seasons back in the late 80s, early 90s. And then there was a hiatus till 2001 when CTV picked up the Degrassi franchise and decided to do Degrassi The Next Generation. So basically, they did that for many years. And then all of a sudden, after season 8, CTV lost the rights to MTV Canada because, they couldn't pick up the show that well. So basically, instead of canceling it, they basically gave it to a new network. And basically, they decided to have the episodes on and change the format to many, like season 10, I think, 40 episodes or something? But basically, it was like 4 episodes a week, 4 out of 5, a telenovela, novella thing. Basically, pushing like soap opera, like storylines and all that. And it's like, wow, they're really pushing throughout the summer and all that. It's like they're pushing it. And then, of course, after season 14, we were supposed to see the end of it. And basically, it's like, wow, great job. They did a nice graduation episode and they did a summer special. It's like, well, that's it. Game, set, match. And then Tristan, at the end of his vlog, said that you think things are crazy. Wait until the next class comes by. And I'm like, I thought they were supposed to cancel it. However, they didn't, and they put 4 seasons of Degrassi Next Class with 10 episodes per season in it. So basically, yeah. And then after that, it's been on hiatus ever since 2017, I think. But yeah. But there's still a line in the sand for Degrassi fans and all that. Degrassi Reddit did that in spades. So the basic what if is, what if the show actually didn't go past the Next Generation phase? Now, the Next Generation phase was from 1 to 7. I know a lot of people said 1 to 9, and then it changed to Degrassi, but I'm like, the NG people didn't really come through in season 8 and 9. But yeah, I call it season 7, the golden era from 1 to 7. So basically, that was the era we saw Jimmy, we saw Spinner, Paige, Ashley, Terry, Hazel, Ella, Rick, Toby, JT, Liberty, Manny, Mr. Simpson, Spikeford, Hatzalakos, Radich, Joey, Caitlin, Craig, Angie, Ellie, Marco, Sean, Jay, Alex. There's some other main characters. But anyway, yeah, that was the golden era. We saw all their trials and tribulations and all that. After season 7, like CTV thought they were going to get rid of it and all that. It would have been a nice ending. Like the graduation episode left like little storylines and all that. Except for the fact that Peter wanted to be emancipated because he didn't want to move with his mom to Saskatchewan and his dad wasn't going to help him out. So basically, yeah. But basically, when they do the graduation cap on JT and all that with the tassel, I thought that was the perfect ending. It should have been the perfect ending, and it would have got Degrassi out on a high note, in a sense. Okay, so like, season 8 throughout, we basically would probably have not seen like Holly J's storylines. We would have dealt with Sav, Anya, Claire, KC, Connor, Miss O, Mr. Perino, I guess. Snake as an administrator. Drew, Adam, Mrs. Torres, Claire, I think I said. Who else? Eli, Fitz, Anya, Riley, Owen, Sane, Maya, Sig, Grace, Zoe, Tristan, Miles, Frankie, Hunter, Mr. Hollingsworth, Syed, Baez, Goldie, Yale, Rasha, I can say Grace, right? Esme, and a few other characters I can't remember. Lola and Shay, yeah. I mean, to be fair, like 7, it would have been great to end after season 7. But, there were still some characters that had some classic moments past season 7. And all that, Jane's molestation stuff from season 8. Um, Sav and Anya trying to no Sav and Anya trying to have a relationship with Sav's strict Muslim like heritage. Anya and Holly J. Anya always being Holly J's puppet. Cam and Maya's problems. Maya was sick. On and on and on. There were still good storylines. There were some terrible ones, of course. Like they basically blackholed like people like Dave and Wesley. But did I say Casey and Jenna? I think I don't know. But anyway, yeah. Despite all the good characters that have come out from season 8 onwards to season 18, if you will, because 14 seasons Degrassi plus 4 next class makes 18. I mean, like there were some great moments and all that. After season 7, like there we would have seen. I think that there was like no storylines that were untouched. I mean, from season 14, we didn't really see many storylines be unsolved, except for Claire's. Like, what would Claire do in her lifetime and all that? But of course, in next class, the main storyline that never got resolved was Esme's issues, how she would be diagnosed, and how Esme would have played a big part and all that. So yeah, you can say that it ended on a high note, but I think it would have ended on a high note because those 7 seasons were really highly rated and all that, and then basically fans would have just had nostalgia. Who knows? Maybe Degrassi would have had a hiatus. Season 7 was in 2007, if memory serves me right. They probably would have had a 5 or 6 year hiatus and then come back with like 7 or 8 more seasons. Maybe those characters would have been cast in Die and all that. We would have found out about their storylines like 5 years later. Who knows? And of course, finally, number 3 on the list. Now, as everyone should know, Emma was basically known as the cause girl in the Degrassi franchise. She basically was trying to save the rainforest, save the whales, save a lot of things, but she couldn't save her friendships at times, and she couldn't save her sanity sometimes. I mean, her causes were big. She liked to save the whales and all that. She was a feminist in a sense because, she was upset that Manny, when she got on the spirit squad, would be sexualized as a cheerleader. And she was worried that basically people wouldn't treat Manny like a normal human being, but as a sexualized object and all that. That's feminism in a sense. Even though Paige says, there's no talk about feminism because we're going to have boys on the squad too. Since when? I don't remember them having boys on the squad at all. Except the mascot, but maybe that's why. Mascot boy. So anyway, in a sense, I feel that, that's about Emma had a major cause of season 2, genetically modified foods and all that. And that was basically the basis of the episode Fight for Your Right, when basically she thinks that Raj is basically not giving her the time of day to deal with the genetically modified food thing, despite the fact that Raj says that a good presentation, but with the budget we have, we're lucky to have a cafeteria. And, high schoolers don't really know about budgets and all that shit. So basically, Emma thinks Raj is being unfair. Raj is upset that Emma's basically protesting against his views and all that. Clash of egos. Emma calls Raj out on his policies. Raj, of course, suspends her, probably as a way to shut everyone up and hopefully have the inmates not run the asylum. Her major cause was, and another major cause was abortion, because in season 2, she was upset that her mom was who got impregnated by snakes, wanted to abort the kid and says that I don't want a second mistake. And Emma, of course, takes it angrily. I understand with Emma. I mean, like, thinking that Emma was a mistake and all that shit. And then Emma, tells Snake about the pregnancy and abortion. Spike's upset, but Snake said, at least somebody came to me like an adult, even though it's not an adult. And then, with the fact that Manny got impregnated by Craig and the abortion issue, and basically Emma's like, you can carry it full term and basically upgrade adoption stuff. Like, Emma couldn't just say, I can't do my causes anymore. She had to make it right. But she finally found a solution. I think maybe Spike may have told her about this, but Emma basically said that I'm anti-abortion, but Manny has the right to choose because it's her body and all that. I mean, I know she agrees with Craig, but also she has to agree with Manny because it is her body and her right to choose and all that. So yeah, so Emma at least can have it both sides. That's a good stance, I should say. anti-abortion, but the woman has the rights to the body. Like, I don't really like people aborting their kids and all that, but it is the female's choice. They're the ones that have to deal with the baby and all the pregnancy cravings and all the pregnancy problems and all that. The men don't have to handle that much. Pathetic. So anyway, yeah. And then basically in season 4, her major cause was the domestic violence cause that basically, you know, for victims of domestic violence like Terry, who got hit hard by Rick. And then Rick basically, gets tormented and all that. And then basically at the end of season 4, it seems that Emma wasn't really doing much causes. Season 5, nothing. That was weird. Season 6, she wanted to get Sean out of jail, which is weird because she was still with Peter and all that. But that was mostly because Jay and Manny teamed up to basically try to tell Emma that basically Peter is scum after all. And Emma finds out that Peter was scum all along. Hey ho. And then basically season 7 was the Purple Dragon thing. Now, I don't think she really wanted to take a cause against Purple Dragon. But after finding out about her dress size and basically saying it's the biggest one out there and basically her body problems, she had cravings to have that eating disorder from season 5 and all that. But then she decides out of nowhere, she's like, I can't go down this dark path. I've already done that before. She should have told the Purple Dragon people that said, I had an eating disorder and I don't want to go down that same path for the second time. So basically she's mad about Purple Dragon's policies about sexualization and finally decides to take a stand. Popularity be damned. And she stripped off naked and all that. It was funny as fuck. I wonder if she was really naked. But no, I think she was wearing a thong. And then all the actors and the extras were like, what the fuck? So basically, Emma took a stand. She kind of took a stand in season 9 with the Recycle Project about reusing bikes for people from Africa and all that. It's been done. But basically, she seems to lose her passion, especially with Kelly not wanting to be part of the project, mostly because of his dad basically saying that this job's not going to pay you anything. And basically, I think Emma's basically being a bully. So basically, Emma's upset over that. People do help her with the Recycle Project and all that. She gets the kindness of strangers, such as Holly J. We actually found out about Emma stripping off in the for Purple Dragon, but Holly J was there as part of Lakers in season 7. So yeah, so the major what if is, what if Emma didn't abandon her causes? You can think about it in a couple of ways. It's basically the fans' reactions to Emma and basically, the fandoms thing with Emma, and basically what Emma would seem to be perceived as. I mean, season 4 was basically the tip-off, that the cutoff point of her causes and all that. As we said, basically she lost her drive after season 4. But the main reason was because of the Rick situation going out of hand, and she blamed herself. She shouldn't have blamed herself. But she probably blamed herself because if she hadn't got her nose into it, basically Rick would not have had the obsession with her. So, yeah. But I think Emma, in a sense, would have still been hated by most characters and hated by the internet boards. I know they were like early and all that. This is before Facebook was invented. I think this is before YouTube. This is before things. It was just MySpace being the number one thing, not Facebook. But yeah, like Reddit wasn't that around. I think 2008 it started becoming a big thing with Reddit. But the fact of the matter is, the fandom would have just been like split on if Emma's causes would have pissed everyone off. So for me, it's like, do you think in your mind that if Emma still was a cause girl, that she would still be what is that for? Not betrothal. Never mind. Hate it and all that. I think that some internet boards were hatred of Emma in season 3, and then the writers might have took that as a sign that she changed Emma's character season 4. But I think that maybe there would have been some issues that were huge and all that. You can't go wrong with that. But a lot of people also say that got to learn to accept fate and all that. And, you know, I think Emma would still been a decent character. She would still have the whole dilemma whether to be a cause girl and basically not have friends, or basically abandon the causes and try to make friends and all that. Kind of weird scenario, catch 22, if you will. So anyway, thanks for watching. Have yourself a good day.